TaysGreenLife's podcast. I'm here with Cody. Welcome, Cody.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Cody. I play drums with Artusia. I'm a licker, formerly with them in the Herbal band. Yeah, what's up?
That's great. I see you play in 3 different bands. How do you, put the time together to do all of that work?
It's definitely a process. It's 2 that are currently going full time, and it's both bands know that each band gets a day pretty much for their practice. They have their time, and that kind of helps everything flow together a lot. Especially with a work schedule and trying to figure out other stuff to do too. So.
And with just doing the 3 bands, I also see you also do TLP Films, which I think you have the logo on your bottle right there.
Yeah.
Can you tell everyone what this film company is and what do you do?
Basically, it started out, 10 years ago. I bought a GoPro and started doing crazy stuff with my brother and burnouts in our cars and just, drums in the barn and different stuff like that. And it's kind of evolved into music videos and lyric videos and the drum stuff that I do, and just it's a whole thing now.
And also one of the videos you shot was it Death to Life?
Yeah.
You want to talk about that video a little bit?
Yeah, that was one that kind of came together super fast and in a hurry right after I joined up with Artusia. I had been doing some film work with them before, and then it all just kind of happened in a whirlwind, and then I was playing drums and then had to bring my buddy in to film the video, and we filmed it at Head in the Clouds up in New Kent, which is luckily 2 minutes away from where the studio was at the time. Yeah. And yeah, just my girlfriend did some makeup on the fly, and it was just a real quick, the concept came together really, I guess, in about a day. And then by the next weekend we were shooting. So it was it's kind of how a lot of my stuff is. Happens very fast.
The spur of the moment. Yeah. A lot of the stuff that I do is kind of I don't really plan it out. I just do it and hope for the best. And normally it comes out good. And I'm actually going to pull up that video. Let's see if I can pull it up. Yeah. So you came up with this in the spur of the moment. I've actually watched it, and I think it's pretty cool. I think that's kind of cool. And then we got your films stuff too. I see a lot of drum playthroughs. And when you do your drum playthroughs, do you pick certain songs, or do people give you requests, or something that you like to do?
It's kind of a mix. I've gotten requests before. A lot of it's just I don't know. Sometimes I wake up in the morning and a song will be playing, and it's oh, I want to play that song, so I play that song. Sometimes it's way more planned out. I did a Queen one that's my parents' favorite song from back in the day. Just different stuff like that. So
yeah, it's pretty cool. And what would be one of your biggest influences?
Definitely. I love John Bonham, the old style, big drums, big noises. Just raw, emotion behind a kit. Between that and then kind of more modern influence, I guess, would be Travis Barker, just for more of the flair, kind of that part of it. So
it's pretty cool. And what made you decide to start drumming?
Oh man, I wanted to play trumpet in 4th grade. And my parents said no, because they said that would be annoying. So I played drums.
I mean, I feel that would be a little bit more. You're using,
yeah, and I would always beat on stuff and different stuff like that. So it was always kind of that part of it. But yeah, I really wanted to play trumpet starting out, oddly enough. So. Maybe one day.
Yeah, one day. Honestly, I feel a lot of people who are in bands, they play multiple instruments and they do multiple things, which is kind of cool. I've noticed that Artusia, everybody's kind of rotating.
Yeah. It's definitely, it's very built to, if we have, and even on this last run that we had, me and Kaylin were kind of down in the dumps a little bit with he had a little tooth issue going on. I was having crazy asthma issues and different stuff like that, and it was just, luckily it is kind of built to where you can move around a little bit and make it happen if need be, but you don't want to, but it's nice to have that if needed.
I noticed that. I'm going to go ahead and pull up another thing. Let's see if I can find it. Yeah, where you guys were rained on.
Yeah, that was intense.
That work?
Yeah, that was at a VFW up in California, Maryland, Sunday, on the Death to Odio tour with The Plan, Artusia, Saint Diablo. I was Roachzilla, Crow Hunter. We got 5 songs into our set, and it started raining, and then I flicked the sky off, and everything went to shit. So don't ever flick off the sky. Learned a lesson there. Yeah, it was just water everywhere. Trying to pull gear, trying to save stuff.
Find it.
Wound up moving the stage, and then gear wouldn't turn on.
Where you rusted?
Yeah.
That's what that looks like.
I had to clean that up at the studio yesterday. That was a whole thing.
Oh man.
Yeah.
The weather was crazy. What other spots did you go on this tour? What other like counties and states?
This past weekend we were Clifton, New Jersey at Dingbats, Lebanon, Pennsylvania at the church, which was a really cool kind of artistic spot. The guy used to shoot for Playboy back in the day, so it was it was crazy stuff everywhere. And then that was California, Maryland. The week before we were Salem, Virginia, and then Concord, North Carolina, and Chesapeake. And then this coming weekend, it's kind of an off date of the tour, but it's still with Artusia and The Plan, and then the Soap Girls and the Hunters down at Scandals in Virginia Beach. And then Saturday night is another round, Barn Grill, the home spot. The Plan, Saint Diablo, Artusia, Fate Haven, and Trivial Difference. It's going to be a fun one there. So
yeah, if I wasn't like, I'm actually going out of town. If I wasn't, I was planning on going. How do you feel about community building? Like, do you think it's something that works, like the networking and all that, or would you rather just do your own thing?
It's definitely a lot of it, especially in nowadays and age with the internet and how everything's interconnected and stuff. Honestly, if it wasn't for networking, I really wouldn't have like a company that shoots videos, because that's really how like all of that came to be, was just shooting bands on the fly, throwing GoPros up at stages at the bar, stuff like that. And then, you're entrusting people and you get to know people and different stuff like that. So
I that's why I'll go out to a bunch of shows. There's just one band that I'm really interested in, but then I meet like 5 other ones or like other people in bands.
Oh yeah, totally.
To talk to people. Like I'm in a group now where there's a bunch of podcast creators that we're all talking together and like sharing bands and sharing other stuff. Like they sent me a bunch of female fronted bands. I'm really looking for some female vocalists. And they just sent me like a huge list. And I think it's pretty cool. Like you're becoming friends with like all these people. And like, if you need help with something, there's just someone you could just sit up.
Even as far out as like, I don't know, 5-6 years ago, I discovered a band through a drummer that I saw on Instagram, and she drums for a band called High Priestess, and another band out of like all the way out in California. And it's like, chances are that never would have, happened if that didn't exist.
Yeah, I think social media is like a big influence now on a lot of bands and stuff, because like I said, networking, and you also have to create content. Like how do you go about creating the content for your website?
It varies. I'm always trying to find bands to shoot like videos and stuff like that for. I try to do at least like 1 drum cover a week if I can. It's been a little hectic lately because I'm getting ready to move. Literally, like this corner is not packed and everything else is crazy behind me.
Yeah.
So everything's coming down, and I'm moving like next week, and then I'm kind of going to be setting up in a different spot. So that's going to be a little process to work out of how that's going to happen. And then after that, it'll be back to like 1 to 2 drum covers a week, which that's kind of how I get a lot of my practice work in too. I'm not a big drummer that likes to just sit and noodle around on drums. I'm too ADD for that. I'll just la 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 la.
I do. Like, I see a lot of the covers. What would be one of your favorite covers you filmed recently?
Oh man, the new Lamb of God song was a really fun one. Because it was a big challenge for me. That's not Artusia's kind of been a workup for me of that style of playing. I'm way more of a, heavy rock kind of pop punk kind of style drummer. But it's fun working up to that style now of being able to do some of that stuff. And that song was like, as soon as I heard the riff hit, and I was like, oh, I got to play this song. So that was a really fun one. The Quiet Things That No One Ever Knows by a song called Brand New is like close to my heart song. All of them really. I mean, it's a lot of fun ones. Some that are just random. I did like a Rihanna song like 4 or 5 years ago that was like, I heard it and was like, oh, that's cool. So it's totally random how it happens. Some stick, some I couldn't tell you what the drum parts are after I play some of them. So it's
That's cool that you have like an open like area of like what you play. Like you said, Rihanna, and then you have Lamb of God, and then Brand New. So it's all like different like.
Oh yeah,
genres.
probably like the coolest sounds recently that I've got was a Taylor Swift song. My roommate Emma, she turned me on to the. I guess Taylor redid some of her albums, and she was like, "Dude, the drums are like, whoa, so big," and I heard him. It was like, oh. So I did that one, and that was a really cool one to work up. So,
do you have any ideas like of any other covers you're gonna do? Like any of like?
There's some stoner doom metal stuff that I've been working up. It's a process working those up because they're way less structured. But that's like that's my favorite genre of like. Where my heart is music is like just sludgy stoner kind of that type of stuff. I have a really cool Bruno Mars one that I'm getting ready to do really soon. It's like sort of different. And I don't know, there's a couple that I want to go back and like redo that I did like when I was first kind of starting to figure out what the hell I was actually doing.
Yeah.
And it was like, one room mic into a board with like RCA outputs jammed into a computer headphone jack. It was a whole, where now I'm doing more, traditional recording with an interface. I got a little Zoom H8. It's really not a big, I tell everybody my secrets. I don't really care. It's a Zoom H8 recorder with a little thing on the end of it that gives you 4 tracks. Plug it all in there, record to a hard drive, little memory card. That's it. It's really that simple. And then I throw all the things into Reaper, and that's about it.
Yeah, I've noticed that Ryan from Rest Aside uses the Reaper.
I love it. It's so for me it was a big jump. I use Adobe everything for my video stuff, Premiere Pro and After Effects, all that jazz. But for the longest time I was relying on their audio stuff, which is I'm good with it working, but it's a little cumbersome as far as kind of how it interfaces with different stuff. And then I switched over to Reaper, and that was a big jump in learning curve. But once it started to click, it was now I can throw a lot of these drum covers. I tell everybody it's from start to film. If I'm at home, usually like an hour. If like I turn the song on, try to film it, get it done, edit the audio, throw it together, like about an hour I can get it done. So it's a super kind of streamlined process with how I figured out how to do it. So some take longer because I try not to do multiple takes, but some you kind of parts get really weird.
So because you're in Artusia and I am Liquor.
Yes.
How is it being self-produced? Is it hard to do everything yourself?
It's definitely way more labor intensive.
Yeah.
And I guess if you're in a band that's going to do that, you obviously you have to have somebody that's good with audio. And in my opinion, in nowadays age, you almost have to have somebody that's good with like a camera in their hand and knows how to do something with it, at least. Even if it's like shoot footage and send it off to an editor. And that definitely, with I'm the Liquor, that Terry changed a lot of how I like thought about, me and him really clicked with how he writes his riffs and how I play. And like, it changed a lot of how I went about my playing, and I got a little more serious about it and kind of put a little bit more effort into it and stuff like that. So, and then going into Artusia, especially now once Kaylin came back on board, because Kaylin also does video stuff. So me and him will bounce stuff back and forth. That's why our styles are similar, but if anybody knows us, you can tell which one, like who's doing what videos, kind of, because it's a little bit different of a style, but it's kind of, we keep it sort of close. We kind of do like a little bit of, I don't do as much of my natural, I guess, style with video of how I developed it would be like more like overlays and kind of like crazy like visuals and using, you know, different frames. And originally I used a lot of that to cover up just low quality GoPro videos, and I didn't have a main camera for a long time. So it was just using different stuff like that to cover up not having these perfect, you know, butter shots to deal with. It's a process that I figured out a lot of that stuff. Me and my current roommates, we had a house right in the edge of Richmond that had a really sweet studio space. I was doing like some green screen live stream stuff there. I had like a whole wall. There was a green screen that I had set up. We did like the 15 minutes of fame thing with Indoor Suns promotions. Shout out to Javier and Brian with them. It was a really cool time, and it was a really like learning time for me, where I kind of got my hands on some gear to finally deal with that I just didn't really ever have the money to like mess with, and kind of different stuff like that, and just kind of sat there a lot of nights overnight and plugged stuff in, and that didn't work, and that did, and
it's
we ran some live streams. Oh yeah, I ran some live streams that were really cool. I ran some that were, shout out to my homies in Seasons. We ran that one for the DWP thing that was just, oh my God. It was, we had two boards malfunction, the audio interface malfunction. I wound up running one GoPro with like 17% battery that everybody on the stream was freaking the fuck out about because it was flashing on the camera.
Oh my goodness.
And I had an on-camera Rode mic with like 20 foot of like Walmart headphone extension cables that we got last minute, like running across the floor, taped down. And it was just, we put a video out on that one, but we were actively like giving her all we got, bud.
That's so cool. Like, especially when you guys were working, you had the rain, you know, on your show, and like we got like what, you got 5 songs in, but you guys still like, you know, did your best. And I think that's very important, you know?
Yeah. Even that one, it was really cool. After that, we wound up moving the stage to the side. We're trying to get St. Diablo set up. They didn't want to get into play because it was just power issues and stuff. But the drum kit was already set up. So, we kind of just did like an impromptu drum circle and just started hitting stuff. A couple kids jumped in, everybody rotated around. It was a cool little way to, you know, make some noise and make the best out of it, and then panic and throw my gear into the bags as fast as I could. I think I went through 3 or 4 of our merch shirts trying to dry stuff off.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I can imagine, because I mean, you got all these power plugs and like things that need electricity, and it's raining. It's wet. Things are gonna explode. Things are gonna burn up, and like that's cool.
It was really. I mean, the only really power thing that I have my like box that I run like all my in-ears and my sample pad. So I just kind of reached over, and that's got a power conditioner. So I just reached over and snatched my power conditioner plug out real quick and was like, I'm at least safe on my power.
That's insane.
Yeah, it was. I haven't been rained on like that in a while in a show. It's happened a couple of times throughout the years. But
I've also noticed you got played in the Blue Ridge Rock Festival. How was that playing in front of a lot of people?
That was a cool, different experience for me. I wasn't actually playing with the guys at the time, but I was there filming with them. So I got really the whole, and I think that wound up being the last show before I actually joined up and started playing. So for me, that's kind of what kicked off this whole whirlwind of like all of these people, and they went off, and it was a crazy show, and David was in the crowd, and like everything was nuts. And then I started playing, and it was the Death to Life video shoot, and it was
That's so cool. Yeah, I've actually
it was a really cool kickoff of you know, that whole. That was the second time. Well, the third, twice that last year, and then once 2 years before. I got brought out to film bands at Blue Ridge, and all three times that was insane.
I'm gonna go one year because like it's a good opportunity, and there's a lot of local bands and a lot of people, and like I know that they do like vendor spots too, so that's something like I could get into because I try to make merch to sell. And so like, I think that's a cool opportunity that everyone's trying to get all these bands together, and they're trying to get people in this area because like Virginia never has like the big, big shows. No one ever comes to Virginia. And it's like, you always have to go to like Baltimore or like DC or like North Carolina. And I'm like, just come to Virginia, come to Richmond.
Yeah. And Baltimore, I love you to death. Ain't nobody trying to drive on your streets. It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing, man. Potholes and
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Like, come to Richmond. Like, there's so many opportunities here, and like things are growing. Music's getting bigger out here, and I'm like, just come to Richmond. Like, come on, support us. Like, get out.
Oh,
here.
For sure, yeah.
And I think that's why the Blue Ridge Festival is pretty cool, because then like it's getting clout. Virginia's getting clout. Like, people are like, oh, exactly. I'm gonna go like do a show there. And I think that's very important, like especially with the community building and the networking. And I wish more things were out here. It's so sad.
Yeah, it's definitely, it's kind of been a jump acrossable point in a lot of like tours in the past and stuff like that, which is unfortunate. And it's one of those things you always hope. It's like, man, I hope you can like bring it back to like, I mean, you hear all the stories about the heydays and everything, stuff like that. And it's like, I don't want that.
Like, come out here, like support us. Like, we're cool, we're wild, we're metalheads. Like, come out here.
Exactly.
So what is your plans for the rest of the year and upcoming years?
Oh man, the rest of this year, we just released a 3-song EP with I Am the Liquor, A Speck of Light. Mm-hmm. We did a lyric video for that. I've got kind of a weird, kooky music video idea or two for the other 2 songs that I'm going to try to pull off, because we've been talking about music videos with that band for, I don't know, I've been with them almost 6 or 7 years, and me and Terry have been trying to get a music video since I kind of started messing with my GoPros. So I really want to make one of those happen. We have 3 or 4 songs sort of in the works with Artusia. I think the plan is we're definitely going to try to hopefully release one with a music video by the end of the year. And now that I've said it, you're on the hook for it, guys. We're doing it.
Please do it. Yes. Come on, guys. Let's do it. Let's see what you got.
I'm ready for it. You can hear one of the 2 there's all the new songs will be in the set all weekend this weekend if anybody's coming to the show. So you'll get a little taste of that. It's really cool stuff. It's fun for me because it's me finally getting to put like my imprint and my, me and Caitlin definitely have different styles of playing. He's kind of more Slipknot, Lamb of God. I'm kind of more like hardcore wild out on stage type stuff.
Yeah.
So it's kind of making a blend of like those things come together, and what we got coming out is really cool. It's very, I don't know, it's very like early Corn Edge type, like wild, kind of just on the edge type stuff, I guess. I don't know how else to explain it.
I'm super excited. You guys come check out Artusia at, was it Another Round? What is it, Saturday?
Yeah, Another Round Saturday, Death to Audio Tour, Artusia, Saint Diablo, The Plan, Fate Haven, Trivial Difference.
Yeah, everyone should come check it out. Like, support the local music scene. Like, get these guys out and get them famous. Come on, let's do it. I noticed that, what was it, Kaylin used to be on the drums?
Yeah.
And then how was that transition?
It was, luckily, I guess when we figured out it was going to happen, it was just enough time because I had about 2 weeks before the first show, which for me it was like, luckily I had a space where I kind of just pre-apologized to my roommates and was like, I'm fucking sorry, bud, but I got to play like all day, every day. because it was a big jump in style of just, I never did a lot of like double bass stuff. More of like the bottom style double. I would use it to just do like the lazy diddles and triplets and stuff like that, where, Artusia doesn't have a ton of that traditional style metal double bass, but the parts even that are there, they're pretty important for like the breakdowns or stuff like that. So it took a little bit to work up and get confident in that. And then the first show was, I don't know, deer in headlights and hold on for dear life. And I look back on it now and it was like 15 BPMs too fucking slow. And, but yeah, it was a workup of, probably about 4 to 6 months of when I started to feel, I guess, comfy in the parts, and where I felt like my tempos picked up. Cause that was a process too, of where with the liquor, I tend to play a little behind the click and behind the beat, and kind of intentionally, I call it, simulated drunk drumming, where you're like the really slow kind of triplet fills and stuff like that, of like, it's just bottom style. And like, I call it drunk drumming cause it's like fun, time liquor, but whatever. And then with Artusia, it's kind of getting it almost opposite, where I'm like right ahead of the beat all the time, of like driving it to be kind of like anxious almost. So
I'm super excited. I've actually seen you guys play. Was it Banditos?
Yeah.
I think that was the bar. And that was honestly the first time I saw you guys, and I was like, it's so good. It's so good. I love it. I'm super excited because I'm actually going to go to the show, I think, October 22nd. I'm going to try to go.
Nice. Yeah, the Halloween show. Yeah, that one's going to be... I don't know what we're going to have up our sleeve for that yet, but it's a Halloween show, so something's going to get weird.
It needs to be spooky.
I got all these masks and stuff up here. I might have to put one of them on and get a little wild.
Yes, I think there is a costume contest that they're also doing.
Yeah.
So we're gonna see how well that goes. So any advice to any of the drummers, trying to do the same thing you're doing?
It's a process. Like, just keep playing. I mean, I have really bad days and I have good days, and then I don't know, you just kind of got to roll with the punches on the different days of how they roll and keep playing. And it's been a process. I think it's 25 years now or something like that. Weird that it feels weird to say that. It feels really odd to say that because I don't feel as old as I am, I guess, sometimes. But when I say stuff like that, it's like, holy shit. But yeah, I can't really remember any periods of my life where I just like stopped for more than like, I don't know, a hot flash in the pan type of time before it was like, no, I need to hit drums.
That's good. Everyone needs to I feel like have some form of hobby. Like mine, I do a lot of painting and like drawing and making stuff. So like, I feel like it's important, especially for mental health, to have. Oh yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. Like, cause
I use it. I tell everybody it's a lot of, I don't come across, I guess, as to most people as having like anger issues or anything. But if you watch me play, that's all of it right there in a bubble of like, that's where everything comes out of. Just that's why I look so all the time and I'm flicking shit off, and it's like, cause I'm mad in those moments, and that's where it all, that's where that all comes out at. It's kind of always really has been for me. Of like, that's the big release of just all the energy.
I feel like it's super important. And a lot of times, like, also men with mental health, these are things that people don't really talk about. And like, it's very important that people are getting hobbies and working on these things. And then especially in the music, you definitely tell, like you said, you could see the anger, and it's that you get it out in a healthy way. And a lot of people are like, I saw, what was it? Kentucky thing going on. And
that was a whole...
I was watching it and I was like, oh my goodness, there's so many bands arguing, so many negativity, so much like, and it sucks because one thing I did notice is they may not have known that their, member was bad, and, they get so much hate. Like the other band members are getting hate by one member. And that just sucks. Cause then you have all these people like, we're never going to listen to these bands again. And I'm like, why don't you just hate that one member, push to get that one member really, get rid of, but don't hate on the whole band. Like,
yeah, it's definitely, it's a crazy, slippery, kind of wild and wacky world we live in nowadays, of where I don't even know how to explain it sometimes, of how it all plays out and works.
yeah. And it's just like so sad how sometimes the internet is like,
yeah,
one person, not even a person that might have, like, it might not even be true. We don't know, you know? And one person could say one negative thing and the whole like blows up, because that's how the internet works now. Everybody sees everything. And it's so sad because also like the internet also like can be mean to you for no reason. Like if your content isn't good enough, or like, I guess a music video you recorded, like you said, the videos you recorded was, and everyone was freaking out. But like, I feel like everyone should be positive with everybody. Everyone's trying to do something, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Be kind and nice.
It's music at its core is like an art form, and it's interpretable in so many different ways. And like, even my band songs, like I view them sometimes a different way than say Terry or David writes the lyrics to them. I might feel a different way of how it, you know, hits me. It's all interpretable in how it is. And everybody just needs to like understand that, and not like this genre or this or that, or just, it's all just music.
And everyone should, like, the music is supposed to make you happy. Even if it's like, you know, the hard stuff is supposed to make you feel like some form of emotion. And
yeah, it's
like,
supposed to invoke any kind of emotion. Yeah, exactly.
And not be so hateful and so mean, especially in the metal genre. There's a lot of like stigma behind it, but some of the guys are like the nicest people that I've ever met. Like you wouldn't see it. Like you wouldn't.
It's a family once you get into it.
Yes, I totally agree. If you want to go ahead and put in your places to follow you, and
it's the Instagram is at the Liquor Drummer. I think there's an underscore after it. Maybe I don't. These details. Facebook, you can look me up. It's Cody. Mausolf is the last name. I'm not going to spell it. Figure it out for yourself. I've heard them all. Let's see. Look up both the bands, Artusha, Artusha on Instagram and Facebook. I Am the Liquor. If you're a Trailer Park Boys fan, so are we. Other than that, TLP Films, or I think it might be under the Liquor Portal actually on YouTube. But it's one of those two, just YouTube / or if you just search it, you can find all my shit. That's where all the drum covers go. I just put up a couple yesterday and today. If you're a Paramore fan, there's one for you.
Super excited to see it. You guys check him out. Follow him, like him, share him, do it. Like he's got a lot of work. Follow him. Thank you for being a part of my podcast today. And I can't wait to see what you got coming next.
Awesome, guys. If anybody's coming out Saturday night, let's get fucking late. Later, guys.